Welcome back to Fashion Automatics. It's your boy LA Bill, I'm a fashion designer. I'm the host from Chicago, representing right here with my boy. Go ahead, introduce yourself for the podcast.
Stepz the Incredible, man. You're a West Side's native, from the Footwork Kings. Just for Chicago footwork, period,
Yeah, appreciate you for coming out, man. For real, we doing this out west or Chicago podcast, man. I do, fashion interviews. I've been seeing you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, always been an inspiration to the community. Tell them more about like what you do, like as a footwork, cause you doing your thing with like dance classes. Yeah. You've been a part of the history of or what footworking really is, and you still got it going on. So let people know like who don't know about footworking, like give them like a real descriptive detail of who you are to the game.
Okay, well I say once again my name's Stepz. I grew up on the west side of Chicago my whole life. I went back and forth the west side and south side of Chicago, so I got best of both worlds. But over the years, say starting off in footworking, I say it's always been within the music of like house music, how the definition of starting. If we're gonna talk about the beginning of it, it was been 40-some plus years, and it's like the tempos of music and how the sound is displays to a certain extent, especially like with the culture of footworking. The culture of footworking right now is like it needs to be provided more into the west side. I say it's pumping real hard outside. So out south, I say they organized. So it's like at the end of the day, we at that other side of like trying to not being so much of a competing, but it's basically like uplifting our community of knowing back where we started, basically, like, and I'm one of the people, like one of the few is, one of the real ones that, been putting in work
in
the footwork industry, period. Like I've been in the field, I've been on TV shows, I done did the Rosie O'Donnell show, I did America's Best Dance Crew, like teams like the Chicago Footwork Kings. You look us up on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, and like things like that. We started off. It was a collective of first before I got there. It was a collective of 13 members, but then it was like my talent brought me there because it was like I was an overall dancer. Like that's one thing I tell people about me. Like overall, it's not too many masculine dancers, men that dance. So
right.
It's like I grew up in that era when it was cool to dance.
Right, it was cool.
I'm still that last breed.
Yeah,
I still one of them real dancers instead of sitting down saying I'm just a footwork. So
because I wish I knew how to dance. Like I wish I knew how to footwork, and because you know what I'm saying. I just like to dance, and like I grew up in that era where
Yeah, it was like that.
You know what I'm saying?
It was our culture at that time because like if you got to look at it. Outside of town, we had the South Side got their side their own sound of how they do things, and West ours was a more up tempo, and then was like we had animations and all that stuff that concluded because we were like out West it's really the foundation of how when footwork really started. It goes back to everybody saying it, like even the OGs that told us they like it narrowed down to it started out West.
Right.
But then it trickled over because of the tempos of like when it changed from dancing to 60 beats per minute. Now it's dancing from 160 beats per minute. So the music sped up over the time frame over the 40 years. That's still going. But it was like I give it first always up to the DJs because that's a lot of people forget about them. They don't put the DJs into it because we would have never knew about the sounds of pump it, irk and jerk it, and all that, and like these anthems that made us like the ooh ah ah all them old school tracks. It was like it built house. And like, my mama used to play house music, ghetto bass, and all that stuff when she cleaned up the crib, and like on Sundays hearing it all of it. So it's like the DJs they got their biggest hand on it because it's like they provided the sound for us to actually make them type of dance moves. Like you on the west side, we got the Tracks Man, like that's Tech Life. It's like people don't bring up these names because it's like, well, of course it's the footworking industry and the mass side of it, but it's like it's more to it. Like you got like people that was avenues, like they wasn't the actual footwork. Like people don't know Wildlife used to footwork too, but that was when he like Soldiers at War was out and stuff like that. When that was an old West Side group that used to rap and stuff like that. Crucial Conflict. do or die. Like most, they knew about footwork, and then
right.
Like, that was like that first generation of like how it presented, because you had people like Main Attraction, TWJ, Sky's the Limit, all these groups that built up and from out west that crafted everybody from us, like the Detros, the Mead, the TJs, the Cookies. It go down to further down to like the younger generation now, like Cookie in that era was like it was just presented to him, and he was old spirited with a lot of the old school moves, and then it's like we just crafted it and made it a new generation.
Right. So when you first got into footworking, so I know it was like footworking came about just like everybody thought footworking was like you just had to sing somebody, like you was at a party, you was probably at school, like mostly you when it was music around, like you probably, you know what I'm saying, you experienced footworking. Like who was that person like that had you like, dang, like he got it, like I want to footwork.
I say because I said, well, the mecca of the west side of it was where they started off the footworking. Where I first seen it at, I used to see it at block club parties a lot. So back in the day, I seen it from the group Main Attraction. They like came to our block when I lived on Cicero and Adams around that time. And they came over there, they performed on our block, and I was seeing like the moves, grabbing of the shirts, and like, oh, everybody, the ghosts and all that stuff that get kicked off. And then it was like, all right, then there was this one guy named Jeff. He was sailboating. That was my first move I ever learned how to do, and it was like, all right, hit the boats, and it's like once you go and something like that, it's a different demeanor, because it's like now I was like, all right, now they had names for certain moves, and it was like seeing him do that, and then it was like seeing him on my block as younger. Then growing up, I went to Spencer Elementary School, so it's like the music stayed around. DJ D-Man, RP Boo, all of them, I kept running past all these people with all like that, and then it was like seeing the same guy Jeff.
What?
I seen him Jeff dance at Austin High School, because I went to Austin High School. The Main Attraction, that was the mecca, where because Terrain Ellis is basically like the godfather for the West Side. I say for Main Attraction, because he birthed a lot of people so far. Like you got people like Jeff. You got people like Big Nicky, females that used to footwork, Sharita. And that's another person like I want to speak on too. It's like that's my wife, honestly. Like she was a queen of the footwork, and like that's she another name that gonna get dropped too, because the footwork, like you had Kiki, you got Murder Mommy and all them, but it was like in that first generations you had people like Sharita that learned from everybody. You had DB, Kwanzi, Bobby. You had Stepz from Fade Squad. Like Fade Squad and Main Attraction was like the two hottest groups out back then at that pinpoint. So it's like they merged, and most of their dances they either was with them or they hung with them. So it was like the gathering back then, all the moves that everybody see all the moves that we see us do now. These was like the people that they do it now. You'd be like, man, they was before their time, because they crafted something that was like made us into like, even with the head rolls, like popping, like ghosting and stuff like that. All that is a signature for the out west, and that's like if nobody don't speak on it, who gonna do it?
Right.
But it was like that's the history.
And what you call and what out west? What's the terminology you use? What's the moves called? Like call it ghost.
You got ghosts, bangs, dribbles, skates. And it's like that's a foundation. That's always the foundation. Like, and a lot of people they be like, man, if you got that foundation, it's like once you get that concept, then the foundation you build within yourself. Because that's why I tell people, everybody be thinking footworking is like so hard.
Right.
It's not. It's manual to footworking. Period. So I tell people like it's a free soul spirit, because at the end of the day, all them songs and soulful tracks that we used to hear, like Follow Me, like back in the day, these songs they made like a difference for like us to uplift ourselves. And it's like I always been a realist into the music, like the snares, the bass drums and stuff like that. I dig into that, so it's like that what created my style to be so different from everybody. Because once again, I was a dancer before I was a footworker. I tell people that I pop lock and learn how to break dance.
Oh
yeah. I did all that before. I'm like, I knew how to kick a leg, but it was like, learning movement and to sound is way different. Like you said, it's vibrations and all that stuff. So it's like once you keep that.
I ain't never had. I mean, I had a little bit of that, but I ain't. Man, I just wish I was more times than that. I just feel like I ain't never. Just like really took the time.
I feel like it's in everybody out west. It's always gonna be because
out
west is the soul.
Some going on. I know. Not here music. Some be going on.
Yeah, and it's like you can see. Like I done seen drunkies. Not to say like drunkies, but you see old schools and stuff like that. Back in the day, they hit certain tracks of beating the motherfucker do on a garbage can. It's electricity, bro.
Right.
And it's like it's gonna make you move and dance, but that's
and this is from a dance instructor. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your own classes, like you taught people, you got like
and
X amount of students I can
vouch to say I taught a lot of shorties that a lot of people they don't probably even sleep on. They look past. I had help assisting a lot of the shorties because I was like I wasn't always. I told people I was dookie at one point when I became. But it's like I wasn't dookie that long because I grew.
Because you gonna work, you trying to
got my I remember going to my first time battling was I had from K Town. His name was Chewy, Get Gat, and all them. Like from the Holy City, all them they had a different style from us. That's why I'm saying it goes back to footworkers. They had their turfs.
Right.
So it's like you had the Holy City, then you had the people from the village. You had Lil June and all them down that way, Wayne, all them. So it's like them turfs that was built, and we all brought that as a collective because now that's when we met up at Warzone, we was all Heat Squad at once. Or it was all Heat Squad or 187.
Right.
Or Nemesis, because like I brought my thing was when I made Nemesis was my first actual group after I left 187 because I first started off with Deadly Alliance. That's the dance group. Me, TJ, he started. He was like we was doing that at Austin Town Hall first.
Right.
He was there first. We was we did hella shows at like Father and all that stuff. So it broke down from the crews was coming around each other out west all the time. So it was like, man, we gonna link them. We gonna everything was gonna be together. And it's like we broke everything have its ups and its downs, but because everybody want to be a star in the team, and like we can see that now in the NBA. It's just like it's like now what needs to be brought into the footwork industry is that to make it more of into an association, like make it more of a business apparel to see everybody see it. Like, all right, you got this crew and what they stabilize on a style that they made themselves, and it's about you being unique because that's the thing about it. You don't want to have the same group. This group doing the same moves this group doing.
And that's what I feel about the footwork game too. That's what I was saying. Like when it comes down to like things that's going on, we got movements in Chicago. This is why, I love Chicago. I'm always a fan of everything that we do because I feel like there's a lot of great talents, a lot of great dancers, actors, rappers, promoters, and the whole, the whole layout. You know what I'm saying? So when I see a movement, and I just feel like that when it comes down to the movement, like I said, like the bop movement and the footwork movement, I just feel like it's just it needs to be a little bit more organized. Like, and I hear a lot of people on all these podcasts, and they always use these rap comparisons, and they use it comparison to like basketball, to the game, like to hooping. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And competing, and then I'm like, if any genre where people compete, where they trying to be better than someone, it always needs to be someone, a broadcaster, someone who's speaking like, presenting like, this person is doing this, you know what I'm saying, and just getting updated news of what's going on and how they, and giving up all the like the ripples and the effect and how they affecting the footworking game right now. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like a ESPN for footworking. You know what I'm saying? Like a.
And it needs to be ref. I ain't gonna lie.
It definitely needs to be ref.
Because it's like at the end of the day, our culture is expanding now.
Right.
You got people in LA doing it, Egypt, Italy, all over the world now. So it's like they grasp onto something that we started home, and it's like to us. I hear a lot of people that sit there and say, "Oh, the dude from Japan, they look like robots. Somebody teaching them," and it's like at the end of the day, somebody took time to teach them.
Well, they took time to learn.
They took time to learn, right? But then you look at it back at home. Ain't nobody really teaching at home.
Right.
Ain't nobody really trying to grab these shorties and actually put them in a mind frame. Like like with me, that my thing now is how I build House of Works is basically.
And that's what I tell people. You know what I'm saying? That's a sad thing. Like this is why I want to keep this podcast forever going. Like like Chicago, like when the outside world look in, Chicago with everything is busting. Woo, with like people is ready to grab everything. But when you're in Chicago, that feeling is the total opposite.
You feel like that's why I'm not.
You know what I'm saying?
I went through that whole phase. Too.
It's like Chicago. Like the way people look at us, we looking back through the same lens. Exactly. Like so we like what's going on in LA. We like what's going on in Philly. We like what's going on in Miami. We like what's going on over there. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And it's like. It's different, so it's like that's why people be more to grab the like footwork and the rap, even the bopping culture and the drill culture. Like, cause you know, there's a lot of culture that starts in Chicago. A lot of terminology, the way we talk, dress, think, and so on. So that's why I feel like that. You know, that needs to be a part of like the footwork. Is just like more organized. Not like I like dancing to the part, like even back in the 80s and the 90s, like they used to like dance choreography, like people were synchronized dance, just doing moves and performances and shows. Like I'm always a fan of performing art. If you can perform, you got a talent, you got a skill, you can perform that. Like how can I I got an eye for that. I got a mind to observe. I got you know what I'm saying, like an ear for and then if I like it, I'm definitely a fan. Like, it don't matter who it is. So I definitely appreciate you coming up here and telling people like who you is, because I know you probably been trying to get this out here. Like, you want people to, especially you know what I'm saying, the footwork and culture. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying, and who you was to it, and how you affected, and get people to be like in tune with what you want. So this game can be, you know what I'm saying? Because I know you feel like you the best. And I know you probably need some competition out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so and that's why I chose to educate the children.
Right.
To educate the youth about it. Yeah. And it's like everybody sitting here, they chasing a bag that ain't there until you have something established.
Right.
And it's like getting these kids is something that's gonna help you get established. It's not. A lot of people sit there and be like, oh man, they sit there and be like, but it's like, you got parents out here that's like, they went through them. We don't have them avenues like have dance studios everywhere. Yeah. Out west, we used to have the park districts hold down a group. Every park district, like La Folle had Aggression. 187 was at Austin Town Hall. Daily Lines was at Austin Town Hall. All these groups, they went through like the park districts. It's like now, it's like art galleries that they put now with ASM. Like I had the blessings of being an ASM like 6 years ago. I was teaching there, teaching in Crane High School, North Lawndale. Even I taught in the Saints, like Project Homes and stuff like that. And it's like big. And it's like this is like, and this over the last 10 years, over 10 years, and I was like still to this day. Like now, I'm working with the JCD Majorette team. So like she in Berwyn, she's a West Side group that competes against the South Side a lot, and she wins like second place and stuff like that. And she gave me the avenue of trying to, expand even the footwork culture, because it's like we out west. There's a lot of people that see it and be like, man, we want our kids to learn how to do it. But then it was like some parents, they need to, not saying chump up no bread just to do like an arm and a leg, but it's like support and donate at least to something that, that's gonna make sure that your kids getting something out of it, like the education. Like with my program, I'm developing children that even if they not actively like mentally got the footwork steps down, I try to encourage them like, all right, do you like the music, or like, all right, let me teach you how to make some beats, or all right, you want to learn helping them in filming, because all these productions is around the whole dance thing. It's an entertainment, so it's like you gonna have them kids that like, oh, I got this kid that don't like, because he got weight on him. He don't want to sit there, but he cold at he record. Right. And you be like, man, now he got editing skills. Now you put him in a whole. He's a part of the production that you have to bring. That's why a lot of people need to bring more production to what they're trying to bring to life, because it's like you'll sit there and be like, all right, I got a footwork crew. Right. But it's a whole time you just got a whole bunch of niggas that just y'all coming in there sweating, and what y'all building.
Definitely need a production crew, man. Shout out to my production crew, my production man. Exactly. Man, he be out here saucing up these videos, got these edits coming in clean. So shout out to my producers and production team, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to Fashion Automatics. We coming out of Chicago. We keeping it real. This is where fashion conversations go down. Fashion story, fashion history. I'm in here with my boy Stepz. You can find him on social media. I'm gonna let him give him social media out. But make sure y'all, if y'all listening to it, we on all podcast platforms: Google, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, things like that. Leave us a review. Tell us what y'all want, who y'all want to see come on the podcast next. What should we add and things like that. But today we having a footwork, edition of Fashion Automatic. So we just looking at the game from, my boy Stepz vision. You know what I'm saying? So, where to find you at on social media?
You find me on Facebook under Stepz the Incredible or Stepz Gregory, or I got 2 pages. Or you can find me at my House of Works page. Basically, I have my Footwork Fridays every Friday. 7228 West Roosevelt in Berwyn. I get the cracker every Friday. It's like, it's not that competition going against battle. It's like you come and show love. You come and kick a leg. This had a free experience because it got to be back out there again. Then Saturdays, every Saturday until the 13th, I'm throwing like my teaching from the soul. My classes, I have advanced classes and I have the basic training classes. And so it's like, it ain't too much. I ask for $10 for the basic training, $20 for the advanced, because now it's like the advanced basically I put people in that mode of like, all right, if you know the basics, that's cool. Now I can put you in that element like, all right, let's advance it to the point where you can put it together, like teaching people combos, and then even just teaching them the sound, like the bounce and the sound is like it merged together, and it's everybody usually like, now I put people in that comfortability. Because I know some people be like, man, females be hard to teach them because it's like they don't think it's that, but it's like, I got to talk about female, and that's why I tell people, like, put that element into it. So it's like I try to bring that whole culture,
that style,
the whole style.
Because
it's like Westside is always known for just basically
it's fashion, how we look, how we do it.
Exactly.
It's just the way you do it.
The way you do it. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I used to go to Warzone and going out. I gotta be, you gotta have fresh kicks on. No, your fresh white tee, you gonna sweat it out, still have a tank top on that motherfucker, you feel me?
For real.
So this is just how the real it came to coming about. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, the reason, DA_reason with a Z instead of S. 87. Right. A lot of people, they be like, what the hell? But it's like, that's just my saying, like I bring stuff to life because it means something. I always said I'm the reason why footwork ain't gonna try to be excel, but it's like when I say me, I build. That's why House of Works is made, because I build from everybody, from bringing everybody that was a part of a group to bring them all under one umbrella, and that's why I'm making the umbrella for the West Side basically. And like, you always catch me on everything, like every social media I'm there. Yeah.
That's good. House of Works.
House of Works.
Definitely for coming out. Thank you for coming out. And talk about, the footwork game, but, I got to hit you with some of these fashion questions, man. Definitely got to hit you with some of this fashion questions. And mainly, I do like a little quick interview on your personal fashion. Mm-hmm. I just want to speak because I'm kind of excited about, like, the teaching side of, like, because, like, you got a lot of students that, like, you got different people's styles, and, people be just like this and just like this. Like, so when you looking at people like that, you trying to, like, do you give out like fashion advice, like you should do it like this because of you, or you look like this, or your style is like this? Like
I'm gonna be real honest.
Like for real, I
when you talk about fashion, I went through them phases. Like I was in my if you look on Warzone, like if anybody look on YouTube's on your videos on YouTube, you can see I went through like a couple of phases in my life where, like, over the years, I was doing skateboarding fashion, like I had to wear the chains and with the ripped jeans at the bottom of the pants and stuff like that, rock star status type shit. And I changed it from that, then it went to hood, and then it's like when I made the Forward Kings, it was more of like a preppy. So it's like the fashion, it changes within it, but it's like with it's like with the fashion part of footworking is that it's like I said, your kicks. It's like everybody prefer, like if you see a motherfucker with some fresh white ones on, and that means that automatically he finna get busy. Ain't nobody finna fuck up no white ones like that. So
right.
Like, at the end of the day, you gonna look up like so I like Paul Zeddy, like my homie Paul Zeddy just told me that from Forward Kings. He was like, man, Joe, I remember in practice you used to come in that motherfucker. You got some fresh white wheels. And you knew you was finna go crazy. You was like, them motherfuckers didn't scratch or nothing, so you was hitting all toe moves and getting up out of there or some shit. But it's like, see a motherfucker with some mics on, if they fresh. Sometimes you be like, you got some people that be like, but if you out there in some bogus ass shoes, you basically ain't gonna really win. Because it's like, it's a fashion thing. Because it's like, it's a popularity thing. So it's like, just like how.
Because
it's like back then in the war zone, I used to have to come in that motherfucker and I'd be like, man, I gotta go in that bitch. I gotta look like something. Because it's like now, you had females in war zone that was like surrounded, so it's like you had all the boys that was there. That was a war zone. Everybody know you was kicking legs hard as hell because that girl that was bobbing. You like I gotta get my juke off on me before I leave this bitch. I'm on footwork with the guys, but I'm like that's just how it used to be. And then like you walking parties, that's how it used to be in our signature. Like we from out west, so it's like niggas. I remember in the wintertime, niggas would be having a pelly on, being that bitch ticking. You feel me about the pelly, but it's like. That was everybody knows. So now it's like it's a statement now. West Side like, oh, them niggas got Pellies and Timbs on and shit like that. So it's like, it's just the culture is.
So it added on to the swag. So it was like, you know, you already had your look, but the way you move is like moving cool as hell, dancing cool as hell, taking cool. You know what I'm saying? It was more about how, you know what I'm saying, how you was projecting what you wanted to put out there. You feel me? So it was like.
And then
that's
like,
just how I was coming. Like,
especially like knowing that you was gonna be on Channel 19.
Oh,
that was the biggest thing because it was like shit. I've been on this. I ain't gonna lie. Like I
used to always watch that in high school.
Like in that time frame, you gotta look at a lot of people. That's like 2005. So it's like niggas ain't gonna sit there and talk about like, yeah, we wear skinny jeans now, but we was wearing them 3X shirts and big ass jabos. With the rubber bands at the bottom of them bitches, you feel me? I was one of them people. So
Buck like, 50 hats. I remember the Buck 50 hat and the footwork and that fashion statement. Because I feel like while I can really showcase what footwork and really look like from a fashion. So with that being said, like while I can
it showed our circle because you gotta look at it. Some people when they used to watch While I Can, you see this. Some of the
Dub Zeros,
the girls with the apple bottom jeans.
That was that era.
The baby fat and all that shit. So around that shit, like it changed over the years, but it's like it stayed genuine to it because it's like even in our best, we were still partying in it, like blood, sweat, and tears and parties and them bitches. You feel me? So it's like I remember when wearing the Mesquite fits and shit like that, but it was like bigger than me. You feel me? So like, but at the end of the day. But it was
that's where fashion was at. That's what it looked like
at that time.
Big white T-shirts, big. You know what I'm saying?
And having these like these short
colorful shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The Baby Napes.
Baby Napes. When I said colorful shoes, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, you were.
I was definitely thinking about
the
hoodies and the hoodies Soulja Boy used to be wearing and stuff like. That was that era, like, and then I remember like that's what parties used to look like, and that was like
even dance like people used to come to parties with book bags on and shit like that. In the Kanye West era like type shit, we did all that type of like the fashion most definitely in the culture is like it enhanced a lot.
Fashion is always first. You hear Fashion Automatic with your boy LA Bill. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on all our content and media on social media. We on all podcast platform with my boy Stepz. And man, in the footwork era, this is what fashion look like, and you know what I'm saying. I'm glad I got you right here to just speak on behalf of that because I just feel like the footworking gang definitely needs somebody like you to like do, to speak out more on what it is and make it real. Because I know after y'all get done seeing this interview, people gonna be excited for footwork. I know footwork is gonna be the next. You know what I'm saying? Next thing
it actually is the biggest thing popping now because like I know you got all these TikTok videos and stuff like that. It's slowly growing on the world, and it's like you need people like me, everybody, Lil Chemo, all of them to still push it because at the end of the day, like we all came from this, and it's like footworking is our baby. We gotta take care of it. So it's like if it ain't growing, it ain't going nowhere. So it's like that's why just like I said, it's gonna be.
Who you think the best footwork gang besides yourself? So I know you're gonna say you. I know you're gonna say you. And if you don't feel like it is you, like who you think is the who?
I said you got a lot of complex footworkers. I say, with me, like now, it's like I don't like what's going on now. I don't look into the energy that people put into footwork. I look at it like I'm like, nah, it's the skill and development because like I'll dance off experience now because I'm like I'm low key an OG. I'm iconic to the footwork game because it's like I birthed a lot of people. Like the EBs, everybody seen the old Wildlife Cam and stuff like that, and giving the shouts out to all of them because it's like they gave
shout out to Wildlife Cam.
Yeah,
because I used to watch.
It's like it's our mecca. We started it's a mecca where we the only an outlet for everything. And it's like even like this is an outlet for we can actually proceed into trying to gain more into the culture. But I say you got people like King Charles. That's for creation. Like he's he's professionally. I say, but it's just like if you want to look into technique and stuff like that, he brings a different flavor to it, and like I feel like that's the only person I've always been. That's the one thing I can say. Me being out west, I was always his rival, but then like I had to stop being his rival and understand because me and him we came in using footwork kings together, and being the footwork kings together, it brought a new brotherhood because we saw the south side, the east side, how we all brought it together, and. My thing. So
y'all with the footwork kings, like it was all Chicago, like all the sides was coming together.
All sides was
like how many people was in like
footwork kings? It started off with 13. I was like I said, I always started in the mud with everything. Like I used to be one of the ones. I wanted to be part of footwork kings probably when it first started, but I was like passing out flyers for them and stuff like that to be like. Basically, you got to put the work in to actually try to be broadcast yourself. Then it's like. They started having practice at my apartment that I had on the verge of Washington, and because some of the studios back then they wasn't like open to space for a lot of that type of genre. Because it's like you think footwork music, you gonna think it's ghetto and stuff like that, but it's
rowdy,
like,
turned up, a lot of chaos. It seemed like too much energy.
It's too much energy,
jumping around,
and it's like some people don't know how to contain it, and they be like, "How are we gonna put this inside of our establishment or facility?" To like let it see how it's gonna explode, but it's like they see the aggressiveness inside of it because it's like in footwork you got people pushing off them motherfuckers and it's like
getting showed up and getting beat and just getting embarrassed too.
Yeah,
because I know
it's a competition. That's why it's a big competition. But like I said earlier, it was like it's no love in it because of the fact that it's like we step on each other, and at the end of like I tell people like this, everybody can sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I won this and won that." But it's like ain't no record book in footworking. So it's like can't nobody sit there and can't nobody sit there and say, "Oh, I got 36 wins, 40." Everybody's scared to say they lost, and that's what I'm saying. Like me, I'm the type of person. I'm like I'll sit in front of all the cold ones. Like my thing was I went against everybody that was the leader out of every group. That's how it got my name up. So it's like I was telling people like, man, I'm like, all right, if I'm going. I came up under TJ, but it's like I started even with the people that I started off with. I started off with him, but I wanted to know who taught him. So that what made me go to 187. But I kept everything west. So it was like I was learning my history every time I went to somewhere. It was like then I was up under 187. He had a chapter of all the people that was originators in the footwork world. That was like the first generations and stuff like that was passing the torch on to me. So people like DB. Sticks and like Kwanzaa and all them.
And those type of groups was like when we talk about those type of groups, and this was what different. This is why I want to like keep it like from a fashion perspective, from like the way we do things a little bit different in like 2022 than back in the footworking era. Like some of them groups, they hosted those events. They was like some of these footworking groups. It was like. They location, like they set up. It was they got the party set up. They got the area, the location. Like it wasn't like they was waiting for some extra space or you know what I'm saying. Like
and they mostly did that off for fundraising. It was like fundraisers for their group basically. Like because you gotta look at it groups. The footwork and like you mostly saw it predominantly like at the parades, the Bud, Taste Awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like this had it was community based, so it's like it made it big when it started hitting like the Bud. So it's like now you got them. That's why it's so big out there outside because it's like now they're getting that funding that we need out west. They got the dance studios out there, and it's like no, always big ups to all the dance crews and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like now us as out west, we have to generate something. Like I tell all the old, even the old heads that taught me, I tell them like, man, if we can't keep sitting here talking about the same stuff over and over, it's like, man, we need to get this storefront. Let's do it. Let's get it going, because it's like we waste time. Now we sitting there, we wasting our youth, our own youth that we got to even push. Because like now, who gonna be them people that's gonna teach? Now it's like our whole decade will be erased because now ain't nobody learning it.
Exactly.
So like it's like that's like everything out of like that's what I tell people.
And that's why you have like if ain't nobody learn, then that's when it don't even look and see. That's why we gotta look at it from. See, back then we looked at it was one way, but in this new era, it's not looked at it as that way. But it could be now that you got like spaces like TikTok. You know what I'm saying? You got spaces like Facebook. You know what I'm saying? You got places where you can see these real, throw the footwork beat up in there, and you know what I'm saying, consistently promote this what's going on. But in the era of footwork, when like we was dying, we was still in the MySpace era. You know what I'm saying? We in like the tag or in the beginning stages of the Facebook era.
Because
you know what I'm saying? Like
I said, the internet changed a lot of it, and that's what I'm saying. That's where like a lot of some of the culture has been left out. That's why when people see it now, they be like, "Oh man, that's the Chicago footwork." So it's like it's already made as a stamp on it, 30-something years ago. But it was like, it just left a little small print, like, it's footworking there.
No,
but
I know what killed the footworking era. I know is that an era dies because a new one begins, and it was the bop era.
Yeah, and I got gratitude to it, but it's like I feel like they keep it in it, but it's like they don't speak on it.
They don't speak on how,
because it's like if you look at it, some of the moves they still footworking within they bopping. So it's like at the end of the day, it's still keeping the generation going. That's why I hands up, like applaud Lil Chemo, because he still keep that element part of it. So there's like it started off as a party bop and everything like that. It started from being in the Warzone parties. That's where it really originated from. And then what technically originated from it's actually like it was a street dance. Like the real bop really came from like King Eli from Burn Unit, the footwork crew, but they call him the Juke Ambassador. He used to throw all the. He was a part of Sky's the Limit. He been around in that whole era. He's like one of the OGs. Wow. He my big. I said that's my big brother because in order to get in Heat Squad or be known to get a name in Heat Squad, I had to go against Bro, and he was like on my ass every time. So it's like I give Bro the gratitude of it, because at the end of the day it's like they birthed me into like being that. I had to put that gut in this, and that's what I learned it from them. So it's like
that's what's up. And then that's what I'm glad you had to put that in there, because you look at who you learning from. Like back then, because of let me give you the game, because this is how I feel about my opinion. Like even with the culture, this is what we do it for, and I'm glad you keep putting it on. Like you just basically like the new version of the beginning of the culture. You know what I'm saying? From what it was, now this is what we doing in present day. Yeah. So with that being said, like the footwork and how we doing it now, it look a certain way. I like how it's done in this fashion. Mm-hmm. But back then, like, you say you like the third generation, right? So it was like older crowd, and there was another older crowd as well. You know what I'm saying? And it was like a more of a mature. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Generation that like probably wasn't as street. That wasn't as, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Like I said, the first generation, you gotta look at it. How it trickled down. You had groups back then like House of Maddox and stuff like that. How they used to dance. They used to dance with like the pullover jackets, the windbreakers and stuff like that. Back then they used to whip and pop. So it's like back then it got to the point was like, all right, they still had the footworker part of it. There's just that now it's spreaded. That's why you got the juke and then you got footwork. Because now you got the people that used to go to parties just to be on some like you dance with girls, and now it's to the point now it's just you got the footwork part that they just only do. That's what made it the Queen of Bob and all that stuff that happened in Chicago. So it's like it changed the whole game.
What was the biggest movement in footwork?
Biggest?
And what made it, and what fashion did they do it that made them the biggest movement in footwork?
Technically, I say on my end, I say by looking at it, the biggest thing that ever happened to footwork was when the Footwork Kings, Charles and them was doing, they was teaching Madonna. That's the biggest thing that ever happened, because you gotta look at that's a pop star. Like Madonna, like teaching all, like me and seeing like Twister hire us for a video, like the Pimp Like Me video. I did that, and then the Willow Smith, Fireball. They like Footwork Kings. We put on a lot of stuff, like being a part of America's Best Dance Crew. Like I got in there when we went on America's Best Dance Crew, but America's Got Talent and all that. They was in the field already by the time I got there. I was like, okay. I remember sitting there at my mama's crib watching the season when the Jabberwockies won, right? About America's Best Dance Crew. And that when I realized, like, I was sitting in her living room, like, going through my whole thing of dropping out of school, dropping out of college and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I'm going to go on that one day. And gracious through God, Lady Soul, blessings up to her, my former manager for the Footwork Kings. She wanted the lady that birthed the Footwork Kings, basically.
Right.
She gave us an opportunity. When I went on that show, it was like, I seen things way clearer now. It was like, we not just only promoting ourselves, we doing it. We promoting our city, because it was like we only stuck to what we knew. But like we kept it still. It was dance, but it was like majority of the people that went on the show like it was limited to a thing. Like that's what I'm saying. You got people that's dancers, which is I consider myself as a dancer.
Right.
I'll tell people, they be like, I learned the craft along the way of footwork.
Right.
And it's like now I mastered it. Now I can sit there and say like, oh yeah. I get busy.
So what's the benefit? So you just told, like, I see how you benefited from like being in footwork, and like you made it far, like, you know what I'm saying, made it further than a lot of people that made it in a lot of things that they do, like far as being on different.
I'm kind of just happy that I got the chance to I traveled. I did the
for real.
That's what's up. I did a lot of the like NBA when the lockdown happened for the NBA. At the Bull Stadium, I performed there before. I did different genres, because that's the thing about it. I did weddings and galas. Like I done performed in suit and tie apparel with Vans on the dance to. Like I'm the only person that me and TJ was the only two to ever to bring the orchestra music, like listening to Beethoven and the footworking into it. Because it's like that's one thing about I say in the game that I did bring to it. And me and TJ, we brought the whole the classical music. It like put in a different genre, because it's like, man, we was like, damn, we need to get a white crowd. We need to let them understand where we coming from too, because we.
So you just the only one to. So that's now you. So now you looking at it from now. It don't only just look like hip hop.
Yeah.
Culture. It look like, a neutral culture where it could be. White people, bro, it could be, you know what I'm saying? And you going like,
and then I had people pull me to the side. I had to go through training. Like I took ballet. You have to enhance yourself in certain things. And like I was already gifted, like with the pop locking and just the other styles of dance movement and stuff like that. But it was like that was the hardest thing I had to overcome. Like man, I gotta learn the Beethoven and like it was basically us putting it together. Like damn, this is our last resort. We gotta bring some different flavor to it. Because it's like, all right, if everybody wants, we got to eat off of it. Let's try to make it to the professional limit. It's like, we can't do it sloppy. So it's like, we took that whole initiative to go get ties and vests, sitting there doing all like ballet movements. But it's like, we got criticized about it. But it's like, a lot of people looked at it like, yo, that's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Because it's like, we ain't never seen no niggas.
You're right. You don't see this every day.
Dancing to Beethoven.
You being good, right.
And the blessing through that, like the story behind that, I like quick story about it behind it. I dropped out of college, and I had a laptop. And, when back then when you had like a MacBook, the only music that was still left in, like when you open iTunes and stuff like that, it was the Beethoven shit. So it was like I ain't had no music, no Wi-Fi at that time. So like I used for what we knew, and we was like, yo, let's just run with this. It was like, that's the only music we got right here. That's all we got. We sat there, we studied the music, and then we like, man, we could do footwork shit to it. Also playing, but we like, man, we in the middle of the hood. But then we started, after that, we expanded, we expanded to actually do actual footwork shows. They were like showcasing not just the raw. It was raw talent, flipping and the fashion behind everything. Because it's like we had to getting uniforms was like to decorate ourselves into something that looked like, all right, they professional. Because they took that, we did that show. We ended up having to do it for the memorial for Michael Jackson. I think probably like 2 years after he passed, we rolled out to Indiana.
Y'all want to show more unity.
Yeah,
more,
show more unity,
more acclaim.
Lil Chemo
more
was with,
respect.
like Lil Chemo, all he performed with us. This when he was like a baby footwork, and he squad with us. So it was like we birthed a lot of people that was like that made their names for now. And like, and a lot of people they probably don't name drop us, and I don't expect nobody to up and name drop because everybody got their own wave. So it's like my wave passed, but it's like now they gotta understand it's like tsunami. I'm
exactly.
Back. So it's like it gonna come back again. So it's like at the end of the day now my new wave now is just basically grabbing everybody to put this whole umbrella back together.
For real, I feel you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to keep everybody connected.
Exactly.
Like, who's one of your so you say TJ was like your instructor, that's who you learn, that's who you learn?
I honestly learned a lot from TJ. I say from basically like on being on a professional level. He set the tone because it's like seeing him in the Verizon Wireless commercial. Like he like seeing footwork and display. Him and Charles, they did it. They actually landed that audition. Like doing auditions and this gave me the confidence just to push myself because it was like I was next up. Basically, TJ always like regardless of anything, he always told me like, "Yo, you next, bro." Like a lot of people they sleep on you. Like he used to still to this day he'd tell people like, "Yo, him and Charles is like everybody would look. People would pay thousands to see me and Charles dance against each other because he's national." But it's like I always say this, like he went over, he traveled and he educated himself on the styles of dance. Me, I was at home and I birthed some of them styles of dance that he's learning. So it was like I was always in his shadow. So it's like me and him have always been. That's been my arch enemy always. But it's like he became a brother when we connected in footwork.
Right.
So it's like.
So how much you put like your fashion? Like how much is fashion? Like okay, say for instance you doing a show, or you just teaching a class. Like how much your fashion like? How much is that involved with getting people to like? Oh, okay. I know this. Well, you know what I'm saying? Besides the
overall, I say overall is the fact.
Like how you be coming to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you just come out in all your brand work? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, me like personally, I'm like I stick to like I want myself to like it's entertainment, so it's like. Of course, it might seem like a lot of people ain't look at it as a wardrobe, but it's like at the end of the day, it's a Chicago wardrobe that I wear. So it's like. I ain't got no problem wearing the white tees, some jeans, or some joggers. I'm always make sure. Like me, I love Jordans. That's Jordans because it's like it's a Chicago thing. It's native to us. It's like we gonna run with it because it's like we saw the greatest Weddies and the greatest of NBA. And we like people like a lot of people like how you said earlier. A lot of people they use in the footwear world we use. The terminology like who the LeBron, who the Mike of the game,
right?
And it's like you got a lot.
I'm glad you said that on here.
And a lot of people, it's like that's bringing the fashion to it too because you got to look at it over the years. You see people that gradually grew, and you be like, all right, man. I seen them when they was like they was dressing like this. Sure. Now they dress like this because you see the advance that they done made themselves out of.
Yeah, especially like with the Jordan thing, like. Your feet moving and the footwork for Jordan, you know what I'm saying, like and being in Chicago, like
because you want to keep
we the closest thing, like we seeing that and the birth of that shoe and all and what that do we right here,
we own rights to win every Jordan that he made
because he used to hoop out west.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan hoop out west. That's what he.
Because that's what I tell a lot of people look at the United Center. The United Center is west.
You gotta come.
Like anything past like you Damon and all the way down, what's what we would consider west, all the way to I say Brookfield Zoo. No farther than the Brookfield Zoo, from United Center to the Brookfield Zoo. That's technically west.
Right, for sure.
Like anything besides after Damon, we gonna like that's just gonna land into we call that downtown. That's what I'm like. Then you got it's so divided, but it's like at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. It's a turf situation going on, really. So it's like being out west or out south. Then you got up north. You got small groups like Goon Squad people. They started from there, but now it's originally now they south because it's like Lakeshore Drive, that whole end. To us we be like, oh, that's just all south. We don't care how long was it from any number from when it started numbers. That's all south.
Right.
So after 22nd and something like Cermak, after 22nd and Cermak, the south. So that's something that just how we embrace everything.
I talked about this on my last podcast. I was talking about like how back in the day. I ain't gonna say back in the day. We ain't that old. You know what I'm saying? We still in the prime of life getting it in, man. We still getting it in. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast. Fashion Automatic. We on all podcast platforms. I'm with my boy Stepz. But I've been talking about this on my last podcast. Like back then on the fashion, like, you know, you used to have a little craft. Say if you was a DJ or you footwork or whatever you did, you know what I'm saying? You made your name off your craft. Then you start looking like, okay, I'm finna footwork tonight. Now I need me a hat. Now I need to go get some shit because I'm trying to go do. But nowadays it just seems like in order to prove to people, like, people more focused on before they even become a good footworker, they might just look like they yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's how people used to like. You choose your battles off. Like we used to choose our battles off of just our appearance too. Like if I see somebody that had like long hair and I got long hair, I'm on his ass. I'm like that's just how it was. And if somebody had the same shoe I had on, I'm like, yeah, I'm finna smoke his ass about them bitches. This shit probably fake, so I'm finna make him do a move and make sure like that's how I used to think. But it's like now I say. I always thought like when I step out if I'm on some dancing shit, I come with that like some it's all everything is goat shit.
Oh, like, competition, right?
But that's the thing about it. I ain't the type of nigga to sit there and go to a battle. I got Balenciagas on. I don't do all that shit. I'm coming to this bitch and you gonna look like, damn, this nigga he equipped. This nigga got a whole jogging suit on. He like he just got through working out and this motherfucker finna come work some shit out of it.
Right.
That's just how my persona is. Like I'm Nike shoes, Jordan shoes. I'm pulling up and I'm like, yeah, I'm fully equipped with a bottle of water. I'm ready.
Right. So that's the, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you because you know what I'm saying. There's people out here who, you know, they hear your history of the footwork and they want to know how they should be coming. You know what I'm saying? They probably don't want to be coming out here, you know, with the wrong attire, you know, and they not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So tell them, like, tell them how to dress. You know what I'm saying? Give them some of the.
Don't walk out there with Skechers or Vans on, thinking that you know it's anything low top or anything. You can wear white ones or black ones like kick those.
But no low top, no low.
No, you can do low top. You can do low top because that's like, you can get busy, you know, because it got it's heavy.
And you got to be gym shoes, right?
You got to be gym shoes. Yeah, you can't wear but that's the one thing I ain't gonna lie. I only saw one nigga fuck somebody up in Crocs. Ooh. Got a nigga fucked up in Crocs. I was like, God damn. Like, and it was a Southside. His name was Rashad, bro. Shout out to Rashad. Skinny Rashad. He get busy, bro. He was
I don't trust the Crocs. Crocs, you gonna have a lawsuit out here messing around with these people.
Shorty had she had the stunner shades on, gold chain on. Crocs. Using that bitch flies here with the Crocs.
But what about the Timbs? You ever see somebody get end up in the Timbs?
Now the Timbs, I can say this. Timbs is training for out west. I say we put on Timbs to train because we want that heaviness, and that's why when we put on the gym shoe now we
like weights, right?
It's light weights. That's all it is. It's conditioning. People don't even understand. Like me and Cookie, we used to sit there and we'd come. Everybody knew like you walk in with some Timbs on, you're like, man, he finna. You got the butters on, you finna fuck you up in some butters. Exactly. Like all the Mikey Nikes and all that you finna kick off. But it's like it's a different definition. So it's like if you can footwork in Timbs, you be like, shit, man, this nigga don't care. This is how it was. It was like, yeah, he finna put smoke the boots off a motherfucker for real.
And another thing on the fat footwork, why you feel okay when Mars used to I used to come in like they little colors and stuff, you know, sprayed on t-shirt. Cause you know the spray shirts, you know what I'm saying? They'd be it's a block club party. It's what 500 block or this 100 block or this 100 block. You feel me? Got the, you know what I'm saying? But now they out here going to the block. They had to go, you know what I'm saying?
And I say now more of it, the colors is like every group got their own color scheme. Like I say ours always been like everybody be like, man, Joe, why you choose? It's been on like this the path of black, white, and gold for mine because it's like just for some kind of royalty between it because at the end of the day it's like black us, then it's like unifying everything. I want to just unify everything, so it's just like it's part of it too because it's like it keeps everything neutral. You ain't gotta sit there and be like, man, you got blue on, not because you know some dang affiliated shit,
right?
But
just because you be like, oh, we know they together, or that's his name. They got the same clothing because exactly. I know they together and stuff like that. You feel me? Like for real, like man, look, I be doing this little fashion feud, man. I be doing these little reviews. You know what I'm saying? I ask you like a question like Jordan or Balenciaga, and it's your job to pick like which one's the better. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I'm just gonna go through a list of a couple of these brands, man. I just wanna get your full taste of how you feel about fashion. You know, exactly. We've been on here rocking for a minute. You know, we got our people on here. Fashion podcast. We just love to get insight for all our fashion designers. You know, a lot of people making brands. Shout out to House of Works. You know what I'm saying? Infinite Bills. You know, it's my brand. Fashion Automatics. We here, but so let me go ahead and get to the list. Let me get to the list before we get up out of here. So look. So let's start with Nike or Adidas. Who you got? And that could be on the shoe side, the clothing side, like your preference. Like who you got?
I got Nike.
You got Nike?
I used to love Adidas, but because I like it's a tradition. It's always that's a hip hop tradition, which is culture, fashion. It's like I wear like I almost definitely will wear some Adidas, but I'll pick Nike over it.
But Adidas got some cold ass. Like shout out to 2K for even reminding me about them old school shoes from them hoopers like T-Mac and even new like cause I ain't even know about like other hoopers they signature shoes like that. But when I be playing 2K, I be seeing all these shoes. I be like, man, no mod is raw. Exactly. But I remember era like if you team Nike, team Adidas, like especially when I used to be hooping, like I used to always have Nike everything. Mm-hmm. Cause LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe, everybody. But anyways, all right, who you got? Adidas or Reeboks?
Adidas.
Adidas. All right, Champs or Reeboks?
Reeboks.
You got the Reeboks.
I got the Reeboks. Exactly.
All right, now I'm
classics all the time.
Now Yeezys or the Jordans?
Jordan.
Yeezys over the Jordans. You got the Jordans.
Yeah,
that Balenciagas or the Yeezys.
I say Yeezys. I wear Yeezys before I wear some Balenciagas.
I wear both, but I go Yeezy. Chicago, we in here. Yeah. Shout out Ye. Kanye.
I go Ye because I support it to the max. I ain't like, everything gonna always be surrounded to Chicago flavor to me. So.
Right, I ain't. You know what I'm saying? You already know how we coming. We ain't gonna do none of that. But Timberland or ACG boots? Timberland boots versus ACG boots.
I should rock both of them. So I say Timbs.
Whew, man, it's tough because
they
the ACG
boots, they go crazy. They got a lot of varieties. Now they bringing out their color schemes now and they more in their shoes now. But I like
the black ones though. Reason why I say the black ones because just like how the wheat Timbs is like a neutral shoe, like a solid just. This the only shoe they had to put out from this brand. This brand, if they had only one type of shoe, like style, they'd have been good. Like, and that's how it is with ACG. Like, it can fit so many different. Like, you can just do too much. Like ACG, you go to church, you go to school.
Real though, you right though.
Interview.
But I say
you go kick, bro. You can do.
Timbs is like you gonna do a hard
label. You can do all the same things in the Timbs. So that was a good. I like that one. But So, what you got? Would you rock Steve Madden's or some Kohans? You remember the Kohan?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the Kohan was...
Yeah, the Kohan was going crazy. But I said, I remember Steve Madden. I don't know. I said, yeah, I remember Steve Madden. I rock with him more than I did with what's the name? Because it was like, Havana Joe's and stuff like that. I was like, it was around in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was some. It was like, I ain't trying to be, you know what I'm saying, especially when I was growing
But it's
up.
like, that's what I think about Chicago is like some things they came and went real quick.
Real quick.
Like you had a lot of people at Creative Rex. Like Creative Rex boots was like almost similar to when like some Tim's at one point.
Oh no, it was like
but
that.
Then it was like me, I was there. I was always I'm a shoe fanatic, so it's like I always like I got damn near a pair of every like Jordans. I got like probably every pair, and I say probably on Nike side like different color ones like the elephant print ones. I got like it's just like knowing the fashion behind it too. Like I'm a big shoe fanatic.
Yeah.
Like even Reeboks, like Chris Paul Jordans and all that stuff. Like I emblem them a lot.
So let me go ahead and do these shoes, cause I know we got, before I get you up out of here, I'm do these shoes, the Dunks versus the Air Max, the Nike Dunks versus the Air Max.
Ooh, nah, that's different because you talking about the 96s.
This specific shoe,
You talking about 96s Air Maxes? It's like,
ooh,
it's different. Like
it's just a lot of Air Max. You know what? I'm gonna come. Okay, I understand where I'm coming from. Okay, look. Let's go to another one. LeBron's or the KDs? Like, series of LeBron versus series of KD. What series you taking over who?
I said KD first series over LeBron's. They used to, like LeBron's was kind of bulky. I wasn't too much big on LeBron's.
No, all the KDs versus all the LeBron. Like
KD's because but that's the thing with color. KD really started the color scheme really. Like he turned it up a notch on but then there was Nikes too. But even though LeBron Nike, but it was like KD hit him hard with the color schemes first. It was like after Hirachi went crazy for a second, you got KD under that line like with everything Kobe used to make like in the Hirachi season, like the color scheme changed everything. So I say KD.
Yeah, I like some KDs. It's a lot of nice pairs of KDs.
Yeah.
But far as like the team shoes, I could take some LeBron, like how they look. They look like some mixes of it was like Kobe and Michael Jordans.
Yeah.
Like the Hirachi, the whole Hirachi, and then put on like them Concord blues, the red, the bottom part. Now you put the Hirachi. It'd be like that's like a mixture. It's like a mixture. So the James Harden shoes or the T Max. The D Roses or the Kyries. That's tough.
No, look, Kyrie. I'm sorry, I love Derrick Rose, but it was just like
that's a tie.
I say Derrick Rose, he had shoes that was only fit for
man.
For
that first
only.
one, them first and the
first
second
was cold.
ones, and the third, man,
they was cold. But it was like
after a while,
they was only for hooping. Then you only wear them they look like they turned into like the Under Armour shoes basically. But Kyrie, he just turned to it's like Kyrie went into that phase like how KD did. Like all his shoes went global into that.
Who you think is the biggest fashion superstar right now in the modern day social media era? Like, who got the? It can be an individual. Like who you be like, damn, like it's unique. Probably one of the top.
I said top dresser.
Yeah.
Like probably top on fashion period.
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard his name. ASAP Rocky, man. Rocky holding it down for a lot of stuff because he started a bigger trend. Like a lot of he started wearing Supreme first, so it's like you gotta look at that whole era of how it had it trend. Like you got Travis Scott, all of them behind him. Like they took that whole brand, so it's like you look at it like the whole big shirts and like out of the clothing that like a lot of people wear. You gotta look at it like he really trended a lot of that. He trended, I say, because he best dressed, yeah. Because I say if you see him dressing a lot, it's different. But I say between him as being a new school, yeah. But I say always been my big like raw like fashion dress. Always been like Jim Jones. Like a lot of people sleep on him, like the vampire life and all. Like his whole attire, like I was back then. That's why, like with the rock star chains and all that stuff, with the jeans, with the boots. I was just looking to that, like that he started a lot of that. That I look at it like everybody be like about Cameron, I'm like no, he did his thing, but like making the pink go viral for niggas. But
Right.
it's like, to me, Jim Jones was one of them people that moved different.
That's what's up, man. That's all the time we got up on here.
Yeah, man.
Bro, definitely got to do a part 2 to this interview because it's just so much like footwork and information
I'm the
that
book,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm the book for the West Side, bro.
Man,
like,
Stepz, the book.
the West. I'm like,
you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm Mr. West, out West. You feel me? It's like you gonna only get the real from me, and it's like the whole 100%. You gonna get it.
yes, sir.
House of Works all day, West Side all day. You feel me? Maybe hit me up on all platforms. Check out my classes. You can register on the classes on my page. The links is all under in my bio. You know, and thanks again, bro, man. You know, you my homie, man.
Yeah, for real.
Ways, you know?
Man,
Shout
tell
out to
the people what's the #1 fashion podcast out in the nation.
Now you got it. Now hold on. Now what's y'all is y'all
Fashion
bro.
Automatic.
Fashion Automatic, bro. It's still like, because at the end of the day, it's like it's developed more into the culture. It's like fashion is everything. It's our appearance. We gotta wake up and go fashion when you look in the mirror. And this how we present. I'm presenting what I can bring to the mirror.
And that's what we do. That's what I do on Fashion Automatics, because of the fact that fashion is first. Fashion comes first, and that's the first thing you see. And that's the first thing people use to build a stereotype about anything. And that's what I want to do, is break it down a lot of these stereotypes by using fashion first, because that's the first thing that you see. And,
Exactly.
and then we can interpret what we see. Maybe we can interact with what we see better, especially in the world that we live in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Even if it's just in the neighborhoods, at our school, at the dance studio, teaching the kids, and even when they living their lives, and you know what I'm saying, and much older in the future. So that's what we do this for, man. Like Fashion Automatics, it's your boy LA Bills. I represent the Infinite Bills. I'm from Chicago. I'm a fashion designer. That's all the time we have. So till next time, check us out. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We on all podcast platforms. So we out here.
Peace.